What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another player interview. This time I'm with the good boy, the goodest of boys, Erik Goodwin. What's going on, Goodwin?
Much, man. What's going on with you?
Not too much, man. Just excited to have you here on the channel tonight. So tell us a little bit about how you did at the Pro Play Tour Atlantic City tournament.
So I wound up second place after Swiss. Took that to the finals where I lost to Ryan Severin. So I ended second place overall as well.
Nice job, nice job. I know it wasn't quite the win you were expecting. You were so close, but still, man, that's like a great finish. And, you know, super duper awesome. Very, 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 I want to say proud, but that sounds weird. But congratulations. So,
thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about this first. Why did you decide to play Janemba Mill at this event?
Oh, I played it in Hartford, which was 4 rounds. I played it there, and we wound up being first after Swiss. I only dropped 1 game to Anthony Hernandez. But I played, beat him, and then beat Hernandez. Unfortunately, my other 2 teammates lost. So I went, what's that, 5-1 with it?
Yep.
On
Cool.
day 2 in the best of 1 tournament, I ended 6th place with Mill as well. So I felt pretty comfortable with the deck, but actually leading up to the event, I wanted to play Pan. Dashi with Pan pretty hard, and Pan's my favorite leader. I wanted to do it, and my teammates, they talked me out of it the night at the Airbnb, and I'm pretty thankful for them. So
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny because my good friend actually convinced me not to play Blue Red Hurrigarn and instead convinced me to play Broly Storm, and like I was pretty happy with my finish too. So I mean, it's pretty cool how, like, you know, your boys are just there to nudge you in the right direction.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
So let's go over the main deck a little bit. So pretty much we all know the Janemba leader tries to mill out the opponent. So 2 Kami and 2 Dende. This is kind of an interesting split here. I mean, I've seen a lot of Janemba lists that main deck the Kami, maybe not the Dende. So why'd you decide to go with these 4 cards?
So I knew that people were very hyped up on Broly. It didn't have a good showing in Hartford, but I just think that's because no one had it. Pretty scared of that matchup because I think it's better than the blue leaders. And if they went wide, it would, you know, I could clear the board a little. And then Dende, you know, everyone's getting ready for the big lizard format. I knew people were going to try it here.
Right.
Dende was amazing.
Really, just yeah. I mean, you don't play the Figure of Majesty to recycle it. So was it really that good? Like, I know that Dende looping with the Shenron is really good, but just hard casting it for 3, you still found it to be very, very good.
Yeah. So Zeno button. So doing it for 3 is not bad at all. Also with D magic, I can set myself up so I don't die.
Fair enough.
Turn behind when they want to do it, which will let me see more cards, mill them 2 more cards, possibly 4 if I have like a Demon Sword or a Reality Bender, and then my Pilafs and my Mafubas for afterwards. You only really need to like Dende them once to get them off their game.
Gotcha. And then did you ever think about playing Toki Toki since you're playing some different targets for it?
My teammate Connor Wood actually sided Toki Toki, I believe. Put it in the sideboard, but I ran out of space. I also wanted to mainboard it, and then after playing so many Janemba Mill mirrors, that definitely would have been the play.
Yeah.
Like Toki Toki, put it back, don't resolve it.
Nice. Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, anything to do, anything to not draw more cards in the mirror match. And then you have 2 Supreme Kai of Time Lights Guides. This is actually a card that I've never seen in a Janemba Mill list before. So talk about why you opted to play this instead of something like Scientist Fu or anything like that.
Oh, against certain matchups like Storm, where you're probably winning on only 2 or 3 energy, tapping out.
Yeah.
It gives your leader the 5k boost, which is super helpful. A lot of the times, like in Storm, I tried to stay unawakened as long as possible and just be unawakened, try not to do anything, and then right before they make their big push, flip it up, get a big mill turn maybe with like a Demon Sword and a Reality Bender at the same time. Certain matchups, like I sided it out a couple times, but against Storm, it allows you to kill like 2 Go-10s without tapping any energy.
Fair enough.
Plays where like you're forced to tap out for a Demon Sword, but there's more than like there might be 3 battle cards on the board. Demon Sword, warp one with Demon Sword, and then Kai will take care of the other one.
Gotcha. And then 2 Zeno button, standard, 2 peel off in the main deck. Very good meta call, I think. Was this just for like Shenron matchups, pretty much?
Yeah, it was big in Shenron, but it actually came up a lot. Like getting rid of Double Striker on almost anything was amazing.
Right.
Matchups like a lot of Storm players were siding or maining the Bardock, like the big ape. Take away his Double Strike and just take the hit.
Right. You kind of just take 1 damage instead of 2, get a little bit less pressure. Yep.
Yeah.
And
kind of
then
almost the same as D Magic there.
Right.
Like when you're at 5 and you tap out, or you have 1 open, you can go to 4 safely.
Yeah, and that's much better for a Janemba player. So you know, a lot of times people try and set you up so that you can't really resolve your backside negate. So that's definitely really good. And then we've got 4 Borgos. So it's actually kind of funny. I saw you and Sawyer playing next to me on one of the rounds, and you dropped a Burn Response Borgos, and he still put you to 3 life at like turn 2. So talk about like how was Borgos for you all day, and how do you feel like it actually does against Storm?
It's like not that good against Storm. I realized. I kind of knew that going into the event. Do a lot of their plays, especially if they charge 2 yellow.
Right. Like
they can flip with Hirudegarn, and they'll have access to 4 yellow that turn. Borgos actually shined was like the Shenron matchup.
Right.
When I played against Marcel, Borgos on the board, and so he couldn't give anything critical. Like he didn't want to summon his Shenrons. He could give them critical, but like I doubt if he did it. So he like really focused on getting rid of them. Another Dende, kind of.
Right. Just like wiping
against
energy.
Storm, it's okay because they can't pressure you like as hard. I could only imagine if that you're talking about against Sawyer, where I dropped a Borgos and he put me to 3.
Yep.
If that Borgos wasn't there,
it would have been even worse.
It's in his hand, I could have been dead.
Yeah, it would have been even worse actually. So it was like putting a band-aid on a giant wound, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so a good card, but overall, it actually is really good against Shenron because, like, you know, they can't untap with Figure of Majesty. They can't, like, go into at all cost Vegeta. It is very good in that matchup as well. Then we got 4 Dimension Magic, 4 Bean, pretty standard, 4 of the 4 life super combo, 2 Unyielding Spirit Trunks. So why did you include this card in your deck?
I actually wanted to play it at 4, but I was scared of Borgos because I don't have any to a Borgos. It helps a lot when you're either going second is like really good on their curve. So summoning like Childish Heart Janemba games where on turn 3 you tap out for Childish Heart, swing leader, unyielding the leader, energy, go into Demon Sword, swing Demon Sword. Also defensively, like where like you tap out for a Demon Sword and you don't have D Magic in your hand or something.
Yep.
For it, so you just untap the 1, put yourself in a safer position.
For sure, yeah. And yeah, Janemba is never really playing with a huge hand, so just making sure you have that energy up to negate. Well, with your, you know, you like you do have 8 negate-ish or 10 kind of negate-ish cards in here. So yeah, very important to make sure you end up with energy. So 3 Childish Heart Janemba. So this is an interesting pick. I feel like people either play just Childish Heart or just Psyche Demon or none of them. I feel like you never see like Psyche Demon and Childish Heart Janemba in the same deck. Can you talk about that a little bit? Why there's no Psyche Demon in here?
I hate that card. I really do.
Really?
It's insane in the mirror match. Don't get me wrong. Like if everything was going to be Janemba, I would play 4. When you have a wide open field, 1 drop would be the Borgos, or you know, even Dende or Kami. Like a lot of the times with those 2, you can just like against Shenron or something, Dende turn 1, draw the card, and then they're not going to objection. So 2 energy to use Dende's effect, but there's still an energy behind. Or like Saki Demon, I better look at the bottom 1 and grab another Janemba. I see a ton of cards, right? Because my leader draws. I play 8. There's 4 super combos. I take a lot of life with D Magic. draw a card for Kami and Supreme Kai. It's just didn't
really need it.
Undrop to me.
Fair enough. And actually, that brings up another question for me. How come no no Crisis Crusher kind of to halt off like either other Borgoses or just like one drop attackers?
That is a great idea. I just room, you know.
Yeah, for sure. You're trying
like
to
in the mill deck. 50 cards was like not enough.
For sure. Yeah, no. The next card coming up, actually, some people also don't play in their list, or they play like a 2 of, like Severin did. Reality Bender Janemba, and you actually played 3, which should have gave you like an upper hand in the mirror matches, right? So you actually did fit 3 in here. So talk about that card a little bit.
So in the previous week at Hartford, I actually mained 4.
Okay.
Sword, because when you get into you don't really summon Demon Sword too much. Really summon Reality Bender too much either, just because like the 4 energy requirement, like they need to have 4, or I need to have 4.
Right.
So good in slower games, or even against Shenron, where Reality Bender like really shines against the mirror match, things like that. And I knew a couple people were gonna play the mill deck, so I wanted to play it at 4, but there was nothing else I would take down.
Right.
Borgos, but I didn't realize how not great Borgos was until after the weekend.
For sure, for sure. Then we've got 4 Demon Sword standard, 8 fake super combos, and you actually did tech the 2 Champas. So I actually just published an article about the Janemba matchup in general, and one of the different things I was talking about was you see like the ultra defensive builds of Janemba, which like I would say this is one of the more defensive builds of Janemba, and then you have like some of the more aggressive builds. Like some people play at all cost Vegeta, some people do play the Champa. So you actually don't have any at all cost Vegeta in here, and I would say your list is much more defensive, but you did actually tech the 2 Champa. So how did this card perform for you all day? I assume you just wanted it, in case people didn't respect your offense, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird thing, right, in a Janemba deck where your opponent on a clock.
Yep.
Just by placing the leader down. Offense is also the defense of this deck, where people combos, they try not to draw too many cards to keep their deck big.
Right.
But when you put a Champa on a 20k critical,
yep, that's pretty
critical
big.
Double strike, they're gonna have to use super combos, or they're just gonna take 2 life right to the drop.
Yep.
It allows me to get more cards out of my opponent. Also, once they see the first one, they play a little bit more defensively. A lot more scared of my attacks, which is great for me, because the more defensive they play, the longer the game goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. I think that like some people online, like on the Facebook forums, that they say you have to play Janemba with 50 defensive cards, and I'm like, that's not the best way to play it in my opinion. So I definitely like that Champa tech. So let's hop over to the side deck real quick. We've got 2 minus Killy Zone and 3 Cronoa. So I assume this is just for that Broly matchup. You talked like and the Haru Haru as well. So yeah. This is all for basically the Broly matchup.
Yeah. So I sided in Killy Zone for my Haru Haru specifically.
Right.
The Janemba cards have Deflect already, but if someone Bloodlust a Haru Haru when I was like relying on it, I'm out of the game.
Right.
So that was there for that specifically. And then Cronoa, of course.
Got to turn off the...
I would play Haru Haru anyway, but Cronoa was there specifically for Broly, and so was Killy Zone.
Right, right. How many yellow-green matchups did you come across, like Androids or maybe Victory Strike? How many of those did you come across?
Played Justin Rios round 2. Only yellow leader.
Gotcha.
It's such a good card. It will forever keep yellow and green in check. And I don't want to be at the tournament, Super 17, because no one sided Haru Haru.
Right, for sure. Then we've got the Striving. So actually, like in my testing, as I keep testing Clash and post Clash, like this card just seems overall better than Borgos in terms of like answering Storm. Would you agree with that?
100%. This card is so insane.
It's so good, yeah, absolutely.
It does a lot more too. Like, people look at it and they just see what was it? 2 of those red Friezas made top cut.
Yep.
Like, this card destroys that deck.
Yeah, they lose
Half
a lot of their swings.
cards. And against, you were mentioning the game with Sawyer earlier, where he put me to 3 life with Borgos. He had 2 Gotenks and a Bardock on board, and I think he had in hand. I had no cards. I drew for turn. Here. I drew the Goku. I played the Goku and passed with 3 life and a blue in my hand. Turn. He only had 2 attacks.
Yeah, no, that card's
and then
actually insane. Yeah, I don't love how they printed this card because it's like a little bit too floodgatey, and you come from Yu-Gi-Oh too, right? So like, you know what I say when I mean like it's a little bit too floodgatey, but against Storm it's pretty necessary.
Yeah, for now. I mean, I don't like that it hit like unnecessary matchups like need to suffer with their 2-drops because of striving.
For sure.
But it's what you get when, you know, previously we printed Goten.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And then 2 ready stance on Goku. Was this for like Shenron matchups?
It was really good against Shenron. You put 2 of them on board, they can't get Gogeta. And I also played. He was playing Buran.
Mm-hmm.
He 2-0'd me something fierce.
Oh shit.
So sometimes I wish this card was Yajirobe.
Right.
But I did fear the 5-drop Gogeta enough to play this instead because it has the barrier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to be protect against that Gogeta matchup because Shenron does have not Shenron. Janemba does have a pretty tough time against hand control, so Gogeta 7 can be a problem. And then you actually did sideboard the 2 at all cost Vegeta that I was talking about before. So how did what did you bring this in against, and why did you sideboard it?
There's a few matchups. I knew against Storm I wanted to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, the Storm matchup goes a lot differently. On aggro you was hard. They kind of, I mean, they do almost the same thing, except they don't combo as much. You know, they kind of like feed themselves with their Gotenks. They want to be. At all costs really helps with that. If playing it, and then a lot of the times they'll be at 3, 2, maybe sometimes 4, but you can usually get them in a good range. I also played it against, as weird as that sounds, because like the goal against Shenron really is to mill them out.
Right.
You know, you take the 7 Dragon Balls out of the deck.
Yep.
They're down to 22 cards in their deck. Shenron doesn't respect, a lot of Shenron decks don't respect Janemba's offense.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's see a game 1, and I come in game 2, and I put it down when they've taken all this life just because they don't want to get milled. It can be a game ender. Also, a lot of Storm players were siding like, I saw a couple side like March of the Great Apes, Idas, and the 4-drop Bardocks.
Interesting.
This card like slayed them.
That's crazy. I actually didn't notice that in a lot of sideboards. That's pretty crazy.
You know, Tony Couture did it, and I played round 3. I think he bubbled out, but and how I won that game was like he had a Vegeta and a Bardock on board with 3 life. I swung leader, he blocked, and then I summoned at all costs, popped the other blocker, and went for game.
That's busted. Yeah, that's great. So I mean, overall, I mean, you obviously made great meta calls and great tech choices to get yourself a 2nd place finish at the Pro Play Tour Atlantic City tournament. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up this deck profile. Any final thoughts on the deck or any shout outs you want to get to?
Shoutouts, I mean, John Alonzo, who is currently the sponsor of my team, Team Ellipsis. He makes amazing mats. He makes amazing gear, Trifinity Games. Big shout out to Team Ellipsis. That's the team I'm on until the end of my days. Our owner, Brian Coppola, is a very great guy. And big shout out also to Ronald Mack of Team Ellipsis for not letting me play Pan and making me play Mill.
For sure, man, for sure. Yeah, Brian is so awesome. Glad to see you're on his team. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another vid. Hang on. This is the end card, not a... Ah, screw it. I'm going to play some Pokemon. See ya!